Hey, how's it going? So for this video, what I want to do is take this document actually from our internal SOPs and teach you how to create the content that goes into conversion branding or for any content plan that you create, either for yourself or for a client, and how we come across or how we do it and how we walk through clients to do this for their businesses. So it's essentially three simple steps, and I'm not going to go overcomplicate it. It's really simple. It's essentially you map out the customer journey, then you map out what your content pillars will be around, and then you map out your seed language or keywords. And once you do that, you have now leverage to create cold messaging, cold warm bucket messaging, and also offer-based bucket messaging. We'll show you how to do that. And you'll keep everything in line with your content pillars, in line with the goals or the brand that you have, and in line with the goals that you want to achieve with the content that you're delivering to the market. So the first thing really is to understand your customers, where they're coming from and what their pain points are and what their desired outcome is. So once you understand where the customer wants to be at or where their ideal outcome would be, then you need to walk through a series of steps that they need to take and a series of beliefs they need to understand in order to achieve a desired outcome. And those can be, 5, 7, 10, whatever, how many steps it takes. Just write everything down from where the customer currently is to where they want to be and what they need to do in order to get there. So once you've written that down, you might have 5 steps, you might have 10 steps, you might have 3 steps. It doesn't matter. But what you want to do is if you have more than 3 steps, you want to start combining things together. Maybe there are different themes or different or similarities between them. And if you combine a series of steps into themes for like stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, then that now becomes your content pillar. And I like to keep content pillars up a maximum of 3. You can do more if that's what you would like to do. It's just easier to keep things in 3s. So we're doing content pillars in 3s. And then what you do is you can either if you combined different action items into one as like a different theme, that could be content pillar number 2 or number 1. Number 2 would be the same thing. The series of steps that are needed in the middle of the customer journey, that could be here. And then the final steps can be pillar 3. And then once you do that, then you need to really understand, so what are the key languages that my market likes to use? And then you also want to understand, what are my competitors using? What are my competitors saying? Because you don't want to sound bland. You don't want to sound just like them. And you also want to stand out and also appeal to your, not just to your ideal customer, but to their esteem, appeal to their core beliefs by using certain languaging. And that languaging obviously has to be similar to your brand and something that you can back up with your product or services. So you don't just make things up out of thin air, but you do want to associate what you believe in, what your product does, how you help the market, into how your customers think, so that they can associate you to their solution and they'll want to work with you instead of your competitors. Because if everyone's saying the same thing in the marketplace and you come out saying something similar but in a different way, they're going to pay more attention to you. So now what we want to do is think about what type of language I want to use. What are the keywords that my competitors are using, and what am I going to say that's either different or said in a different way that captures my ideal customer's outcome or their ideal state. For example, we did this for a client recently, and he does coaching. And for his coaching, he helps pretty much it's in the real estate niche, and he helps his customers create an income to support their families. Now, the cliche words or the bland words, quote unquote bland, that the marketplace is using, it's success, quote unquote bland, success, work from home, lifestyle, freedom. And those words are so cliche and so bland in the marketplace that if he starts saying that, his customers aren't going to pay attention because it's not different. So when we decided, so what is the esteem, or what are some of the values that your customers have, and why they're actually doing what they're doing in order to buy your course or your coaching? Why would they actually want to do that? What are the values? What are the internal values they have? And we came up with certain words like legacy, like leaving a legacy for the family, or being the supporter, like supporting the family, because that's who his customer is. That's what his customer cares about. And the client, they care about those same things. So he just tied his values to his customer's values in certain language that triggers the customer to pay attention to him, as opposed to the other, quote unquote, real estate coaches who say success and freedom and, own your lifestyle or own your own time, stuff like that, right? So what you want to do for yourself is understand, what are my values, what are the company values, and how do those tie together with my customer values? And how can I call those out in a specific way where my customer is going to pay attention to me as opposed to my competition. And that now becomes your seed language. Now you can see here we have 7 different types of seed language. You can have 3, you can have 5, doesn't matter. But essentially what you want to do is that your top 3 words should be in almost every single piece of content that you deliver. It doesn't mean that you have to be like a broken tape machine and just say the same words over and over again, but you want to have that theme come across, because the whole idea with the content map and the content plan and when you're doing conversion branding is you want to have high frequency. Because if you just post one video once a month, you're not going to be seen at all. The more frequent you are with your messaging, the more frequent you are with the content, the more frequent you are with the themes that you have, your customers who you're targeting, aka people, they're going to know more about who you are. And they're going to start to create an affinity to you and to that specific language. I don't know if you've noticed how Starbucks is pretty much everywhere on every single street corner. And they're doing it because they know that the internal psychology, if people see the same thing over and over again, they tend to start to like you, or they tend to like that. For example, Coca-Cola, they don't need to put their logo on the Super Bowl ads, but they still do that to date. Everyone knows what Coca-Cola is, but they do that specifically because they know the more you see a certain logo or brand or message or image, the more you tend to like and gravitate towards it. So it's consistency and frequency. So that's what the seed language is about. Now, once you have that, you understand your customer's journey, you understand your content pillars, you understand the language you want to use and the themes you want to instill in your customers' minds, then you can just create simple messaging around, cold bucket messaging, pretty much like what we talked about. Cold messaging is problem solution, right? Warm messaging is why you got into business, or your unique methodologies, or case studies or testimonials. And then offer is pretty much straight up offer copy. This is what I've got. This is how it can help you and overcome objections. That's pretty much the simple way of explaining everything. But the key resources, the key aspects here are, again, understanding that journey, knowing the themes that you'll be talking about with your content pillars so that you're always talking about something that your customers care about, and then knowing the language that you're going to use to convey that message to the customer. If you have any questions for your conversion branding, for your messaging, for your content plan, just tag us in the group and we'll be more than happy to help you there.